Ooh, these are cool. Maybe I should do this myself. Hello YouTube, this is me, the Taco Warrior, aka Ryan, and today I'm starting my devlog for a new game that I want to make. I was inspired by Danny and his series with Carlson 3D, so I decided to do my own version. I want to make a utility-based movement puzzle game, if that makes any sense, but we'll see what happens. So the first thing I did after making the project was adding a platform for the player to walk around, and then a player. Right now, and for the foreseeable future, the player is a bean. I'll figure out a model later. One thing I had a lot of trouble with was the movement I wanted in this game. Unlike Danny's Carlson 3D, which features a loose and fast-paced movement with sliding and wall jumping, I wanted a somewhat rigid movement system for my player. But Taco, you can't say you wanted a movement puzzle game, but make the movement rigid. Shut up. See, back in the intro, I explained that I wanted a utility-based movement puzzle game. This means that the player should be able to move in fast and creative ways, but not through running or wall jumping. Instead, utilities like grappling guns or hoverboards, these are initial ideas, comment down more below, should allow the player to creatively and cleverly solve puzzles. Hopefully that makes more sense. So after a little bit of time and hesitation working on the movement system, I got to this point. The movement felt janky and uncontrolled, and overall I didn't like it. I originally had sprinting in the game, but later on I decided to take out that feature. It just made the movement easier to work with. Something I didn't realize before working with Unity 3D is that the movement is much more complex than it seems like to make and implement. Oh well, I'll get to something I like eventually. Okay, let's forget about the movement right now, and let's move on to more interesting stuff, utilities. In order to start working with utility, I needed some type of sorting system. I used a 4-slot inventory displayed at the bottom of the screen. I thought this ended up pretty good, so I'm going to keep it for now. So remember a few minutes ago when I talked about the grappling gun? Well, I decided that I was going to add it in as the first utility. Not a bad idea, right? Okay, let's start on the UI image, and oh god, that looks ugly. We'll fix that eventually. Now let's move on to the actual grappling gun model that the player will hold. Using Blender, I created a grappling gun model that I like. And here, oh wait, I didn't make the model yet. Okay, so small, long cube for now. Because I don't know how to make a grapple effect, I looked up a tutorial on YouTube, and conveniently, Danny has one, so I watched it. After watching the tutorial and modifying some values from his script, I had a solid grapple effect that I liked, but I wasn't done yet. One thing I noticed was that Danny's grapple system was effective for shifting momentum, but not too effective for creating a lot of momentum. So, I boosted up the power like crazy and this happened. Maybe I should tone it down a little bit. After playing around with the values of the grapple script and modifying some logic, I got to a point that I liked. The grapple is admittedly quite strong, but it allows the player to gain speed and travel vertically, as well as slingshot horizontally at fast speeds. Right now, the grappling gun might be too strong, but I found that anything less didn't really allow for the gained momentum that I wanted. To limit the power though, eventually, I will probably decrease the maximum range for the grapple, just so you can't gain too much momentum. By the way, I added an initial grappling gun model that I created from Blender. I'm not good at Blender yet. Later on, I'll add on the hook for the model, but for now I just want a model that isn't a cube. As I continued to work on this project, the movement just kept bothering me too much, so I decided to begrudgingly work on it. Quite surprisingly, after a short amount of time, I got to a point that I was really happy about. I also shortened the initial grappling distance so that it couldn't get too out of control. After working hard on the movement and grappling, I was happy with the outcome. So, I recorded a little montage of some nice grapple swings. Take a few seconds to enjoy these beauties. I'm not sure if you were able to tell, and I'm hoping you didn't, but the objects in the game seem to jitter whenever the player moves. This is unfortunate, because I have no idea how I'd even consider fixing it. I initially looked to see if this problem was easily fixable, but I'm afraid it isn't. I'm hoping that the jittering just isn't noticeable enough to disturb gameplay. I guess I'll find out as I progress with this game. I continued working on small things, including fixing a bug where you could grapple through a wall, as well as add a grapple hook onto the grappling gun. I need to do some animation, but I don't know enough about Blender to do so. A job for later. For now, I am going to make a test level to see how the grappling gun can be used to make interesting puzzles. The puzzles that I want in this game should demand a mix of technical skill with the utilities and problem-solving abilities. I am actually really happy with the result. This is just a test level, and I'll be changing the graphics quite a lot, but I think that I'm going to be able to make some really fun levels. Of course I need to add more utilities, as well as limit the duration you can grapple, since I don't want this game just to be grappling. But for now, I'm going to call it a wrap. Next time, I'll add probably another utility, as well as some other cool stuff I haven't thought of yet. For the long run though, I'm working on a storyline, and during each video, maybe, I'll showcase some storyline bits, in order for you to get a grasp on what the game will play like. This is the beginning of a potentially long journey, and I'm excited. Well, for now, thanks for watching, have a good day, and stay A-OK. Am I really going to stick with that?